The NBA is the best it's ever been. The amount of talent the league has to offer is unlike anything we've ever seen before, and it's not even close. Every single team has at least one player that is capable of stealing the show and providing some must-see TV. So today, we'll take a look at the most valuable player for every team heading into the season. Of course, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos if you're new. At number 30, we have Keldon Johnson of the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs are one of the few teams in full-on tank mode, and after watching Victor Wembanyama's sensational debut on American soil, it's easy to see why. But in the wake of DeJounte Murray's departure, the Spurs still have an exciting young player to watch, and that man is Keldon Johnson. Johnson is only 22 years old and could very well piece a foundational piece in this next iteration of Spurs basketball. He's coming off his best year as a pro, averaging 17 points, 6.1 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and even chipping in 0.8 steals and 0.2 blocks on the defensive end. Up next is the Orlando Magic. The Magic have such a young team filled with high upside players in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, but for this upcoming season, Cole Anthony is going to be the guy who makes the leap. Anthony's entering his third season, which is usually when we find out what kind of player you're going to be. And after leading the Magic last season and scoring with 16.3 points per game, the tenacious point guard's arrow is definitely pointing up. The Utah Jazz is another team in the Wembanyama sweepstakes, but they have at least one guy who's looking to make some noise, and that player is newly acquired guard Colin Sexton. Sexton is coming off an injury that limited him to just 11 games last season, but is only a year removed from a monster campaign that saw him put up over 24 points per game. Sexton is a bucket, and after the Cavs offered him what he saw as a below market deal, he's definitely got a chip on his shoulder and is ready to prove everyone wrong. At only 23 years old, Sexton could be a core player the Jazz retool around, and he's not going to waste any time balling out. Jalen Green is looking to emerge as the new face of the Houston Rockets, and with Christian Wood out of the picture, he'll have the opportunity to do just that. Green is entering his second season after being taken with the second overall pick in the 2021 NBA Draft. Green is a dynamic and talented player with a sky-high ceiling who's off to a great start after averaging 17.3 points per game and making first-team All-Rookie. Another player who's looking to become the face of a rebuilding franchise is Tyrese Haliburton of the Indiana Pacers. Haliburton was acquired in a shocking trade at last year's deadline with the Sacramento Kings alongside Buddy Hield in exchange for a package headlined by Domantas Sabonis. Haliburton was considered one of the best prospects from the 2020 draft and quickly showed why after he dropped 23 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals in his Pacers debut. There might not be anyone under more pressure to prove themselves this season than Julius Randle. Randle regressed substantially last season and was constantly in trade rumors as a result. The New York Knicks market is a tough one, but Randle has shown he can handle the stage before. In 2021, Randle exploded for an average of 24.1 points, 10.2 rebounds, 6 assists, and shot 41.1% from 3 while earning a spot on the All-NBA second team. The Knicks as a whole had a down year, and if they're going to turn it around, it'll start with Randle. Sacramento fans and NBA media may have been baffled by the Haliburton trade, but it undeniably helped De'Aaron Fox's game. With one ball handler out of town and the big man Sabonis by his side, Fox set his best scoring season to date. In those 16 games, Fox went nuclear, averaging 28.9 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 6.8 assists. He's still only 24 years old, and if he could build off of last year's performance, Sacramento might have something really special. The Detroit Pistons are low-key building a really exciting team. They did really well to land Jaden Ivey with the 5th overall pick in last year's draft, and he should look great alongside former 1st overall pick Cade Cunningham. Cunningham lived up to his pre-draft pedigree and then some, averaging 17.4 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 1.2 steals, and 0.7 blocks per game. He showed all the makings of a future triple-double machine who provides meaningful contributions on the defensive end. With a full season of NBA ball under his belt, we're expecting even bigger things for the OSU product. Pascal Siakam may have started to fly under everyone's radar, but last season he reminded the world just what he was capable of. The Toronto Raptor was sensational on both ends of the court and led the team in scoring and rebounds. His 22.8 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 5.3 assists per game were his most complete season as a pro. At 28, he's in the heart of his prime and will be counted on to play a major role on a team that could make some serious noise in a strong Eastern Conference. The New Orleans Pelicans have assembled a really nice nice team between Brendan Ingram and CJ McCollum, but Zion Williamson is by far the biggest difference maker. Zion has shown in his brief time in the league he's as close to unstoppable as it gets, as evidenced by his 2020-2021 season averages of 27 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 3-point assists per game. The only thing that has gotten in the way for this man is injury, and fresh off a max contract and a rebuilt physique, the time is now for the former first overall pick to do what he does best. Coming off his best season as a pro, DeMar DeRozan is the guy for Chicago. His ability to take over games is unrivaled, and there's simply no shot on the court that DeRozan can't make. The mid-range assassin was in MVP discussions last year while averaging 27.9 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 4.9 assists in just his first year with the team. After a whole year of learning their system, we can expect DeRozan to not only pick up where he left off, but improve upon it. LaMelo Ball may have shockingly slipped to the 3rd overall pick in his draft class, but at 21 years old, he's already the best player on the Charlotte Hornets. The potential with LaMelo Ball is limitless. Not only is he a human highlight reel, but he led his team in assists and steals last year and very nearly led the team in points and rebounds. LaMelo Ball has done everything you can reasonably ask of a young man. From winning the Rookie of the Year to making his first NBA All-Star appearance, we all know he's only scratching the surface of his full potential. The Oklahoma City Thunder are another team openly pining for Victor Wembanyama, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, fresh off a big contract, could end up throwing a wrench into their plans. SGA is one of the more underrated stars in the game due to playing in the small market OKC, but at 23 years old, he's so far ahead of schedule. Last season, he averaged 24.5 points, 5 boards, and 5.9 dimes per game, and with Chet Holmgren sidelined with injury, expect SGA to get even more minutes and control of the offense. The Cleveland Cavaliers were the surprise team of the summer when they stole Donovan Mitchell away from the New York Knicks, so naturally he's our pick for Cleveland's MVP. While the Cavs are young and deep, we can't pass up Mitchell finally getting a chance to show the world what he can do outside the confines of the Rudy Gobert-anchored Utah Jazz. Mitchell has been a bucket since the first moment he stepped foot in the NBA and should have no trouble finding the back of the net on this talented Cleveland team. The Washington Wizards have been Bradley Beal's team for years, but after that massive contract and full no-trade clause, he's really the guy. While Porzingis was an interesting addition to the Wizards last season, this is a team that can only go as far as Beal can take them. Last year was a bit of a down year for Beal, who only scored 23.2 points per game, but after getting healthy and the offense revolving around him, he should be back to scoring into the 30s like he was 2 years prior. Coming in at number 15 is none other than Trae Young. Young and Luka may forever be linked because of their draft day trade, but Young has been sensational in Atlanta. At only 23 years old, his scoring and passing are way ahead of schedule, as he averaged a monster 28.4 points and 9.7 assists last season. With the addition of DeJounte Murray helping lighten Young's load on D, the creative playmaker and scorer should only continue trending up. This summer, the Minnesota Timberwolves made what many analysts consider an incredibly lopsided trade when they acquired Rudy Gobert for a treasure trove of future assets, but they did so believing in no small part that his presence could unlock the very best of Karl Anthony Towns. Cat is already one of the best shooting big men in the NBA, and with Gobert doing all the dirty work, we expect Cat to improve upon his already impressive All-NBA season of 24.6 points and 9.8 boards per game. The Miami Heat are already built around Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, but with 25-year-old Bam significantly younger than 33-year-old Butler, this is Bam's year to take more responsibility and lead this team. Bam averaged a double-double last season while earning a spot on the all-defensive team for the 3rd straight year. Miami is a perennial contender with Bam at the helm. He'll make sure to keep them that way. Number 12 on the list goes to number 12 himself, Ja Morant. What Ja Morant is doing is unprecedented. He might be the only person to win Rookie of the Year and the Most Improved Player award, which tells you everything you need to know about how good he was last season. Ja averaged a staggering 27.4 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 6.7 assists, which included an utterly jaw-dropping 52-point performance. Memphis is in great hands with Ja Morant leading the team for years to come. The Suns have had a difficult summer to say the least. Between their shocking upset at the hands of the Dallas Mavericks to the explosive allegations leveled against soon-to-be former owner Robert Sarver, the Suns need Devin Booker now more than ever. Book is coming off a first-team All-NBA season where he averaged 26.8 points, 5 rebounds, and 4.8 assists while guiding the Suns to a 64-win season. Even with CP3 on the roster, Devin Booker is their guy, and with last season's failure fueling Booker's fire, he'll be balling out like never before. The Portland Trailblazers may not be the most competitive team out west, but it's impossible not to tune into Damian Lillard. With good health, Dame is going to break the Blazers' scoring and assist record soon. Not to mention, he's one of the most clutch shooters in the league. Just ask Paul George. After missing 2/3 of last season due to injury, Dame time is back on track and we cannot wait to see it. Speaking of injured superstars, Kawhi Leonard is finally healthy. The Clippers are not only one of the deepest teams in the league, but they have some of the highest end talents. It's easy to forget because Leonard has struggled with some significant injuries, but when he's on the court, he's filthy. Kawhi is already a 2-time Finals MVP with 2 different franchises, and if he and PG-13 can put together a full season, he's as good as a bet as any to go 3 for 3. For the Los Angeles Lakers, there's only one logical answer, and that is, of course, Russell Westbrook.
What?
And we kid, it's LeBron James. This man is 37 years old and still one of the most dominant players in the league. James is battling father time like no one has ever done before and was a real MVP threat last season, averaging over 30 points per game. Oh, and he's gonna break Kareem's all-time scoring record. Just another day in the life of King James. Like the Phoenix Suns, the reigning Eastern Conference champions Boston Celtics offseason hasn't gone according to plan, but they're still fully capable of being contenders so long as Jason Tatum is doing his thing. Tatum has been a star in this league for years, but every season he finds new ways to improve his game. Case in point, last season's monster averages of 26.9 points, 8 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game. With his first trip to the NBA Finals under his belt, Tatum will be more motivated than ever before to get back. Standing in the way of the Celtics are the revamped 76ers led by MVP runner-up Joel Embiid. Embiid is coming off a ridiculous season, averaging 30.6 points and 11.7 rebounds per game. When Embiid is in his bag, there's simply nothing you can do to stop him from getting a bucket or board. His team loves him, the fans love him, and opponents dread playing against him. He's the real deal, and to think he didn't even start hooping until he was 15 years old. Kicking off our top 5 is the reigning Finals MVP, Stephen Curry. Curry has already changed the game of basketball forever, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. He's as pure a scorer as we've ever seen, as evidenced by him leading the league in 3-point field goals with an absurd 4.5 per game. So as long as he's on the court, you can never count his team out. At number 4 is Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets. For now anyway. It's no secret that Kevin Durant had a dramatic summer, but based on everything he's said and done during preseason, he seems fully locked in with the Nets, and the rest of the NBA should be scared. When KD is healthy, he's as unguardable as anyone in the league, and even at 34 years old, there aren't many people you'd rather have get a bucket in a do-or-die moment. Luka Doncic is bordering on indescribable. At 22 years old, he's already established himself as one of the best players in the league. The Dallas Mavericks superstar has already made an unbelievable 3 All-NBA first teams in just his first 4 years in the league, and is coming off a season of nearly averaging a 28-point triple-double. When you take into account his new off-season fitness routine, there's no telling what kind of numbers the young Slovenian is gonna put up this year. At number 2 is the NBA's reigning back-to-back MVP, Nikola Jokic. It's safe to say absolutely no one thought that the former second-round pick would go on to become the first ever player to record 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assists in a season, let alone doing it on a severely undermanned Nuggets squad. Betting against the Joker is setting yourself up for disappointment. The dude is simply from another planet. At number 1, we have the former back-to-back MVP award winner, the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis enters this season as the number 1 player in the game by many rankings, and it's easy to see why. Last season, he averaged 29.9 points, 11.6 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1.1 steals, and 1.4 blocks per game. Had Chris Middleton not gotten hurt, the Milwaukee Bucks likely repeat as champions. But even without him, Giannis was sensational. He put up 31.7 points, 14.2 rebounds, and 6.8 assists in the last postseason, scoring 40 or more points on 3 separate occasions. He's the best player in the world until proven otherwise. There you have it, the MVP for every team ahead of the 2022-23 NBA season. Are there any you disagree with? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, and of course, subscribe for more videos if you're new.